I mean, for me, the Vauxhall Tavern's always been my kind of second home in London.
It's the beating heart of Vauxhall. I always refer to it as that.
I think without a doubt we are a beacon of hope to the LGBT community.
Everything about RVT just is home to me.
It's a place you can come and be yourself, be openly queer, be comfortable with yourself, express yourself openly.
We've got a great history, without a doubt we've got a great history. Back in the 80s and 90s, you know, when we started off with Adrella, and then we moved into Paul O'Grady, you know, Lily Savage commanding the stage every Sunday. I then moved into Jonathan Hellier with the Dame Edna Experience, and for almost like 10 years, Jonathan commanded exceptionally high numbers here on the Sunday, but it was packed to the rafters every week.
Are the glasses okay, by the way? I thought they were appropriate for a celebrity situation. Are we all right with them on? All right then, I hope they give me dignity and gravitas. The RVT called to me, and I made my way here. It was an inevitability. I was sort of brought in on the tidal draw of the Royal Vauxhall Tavern, and it was Seductive. I came on, I sang Britney Spears' Hit Me Baby One More Time with Sarah Bodleby accompanying me on the piano. I pointed to there because that's where she was. Matthew, that's the benefit of doing this interview in the actual venue. I can point to the scene of the crime. She was there.
Both Myra and Mary bring like the whole new ethos of what the Sunday Social is about. They're both very different people in terms of, Mary's like more vocal in terms of like song and dance. Myra very much more in terms of like comedy. And the two of them bring a very different strength and bring a very different group of people to the venue.
The first time I heard about the Royal Vauxhall Tavern was on YouTube. It was in like maybe 2006, and there was footage from a David Hoyle show here on stage at the RVT. And then when I moved to London for university in 2007, I saw that David Hoyle was doing a show here again called The Biggest Suicide Cult in History, which was about HIV and AIDS, and specifically gay men's relationship to it. It was an experience. I just remember being overwhelmed by the performance and the atmosphere and the things that David was doing up on stage.
I love David Hoyle. I've loved him since he was the Divine David, and yeah, I think he's a very clever, very, very talented man. Because I've lived in Vauxhall all my life, and it must have been in the school holidays that I saw people coming in here, and I thought, I wonder what's going on there then. Underneath this is the beating heart of a proper lesbian. So yeah, I came back for a lesbian night in the 90s called Vixen's, and that was every Friday. This place was rammed with vag. It's much, much more diverse now. I mean, there's older men and men with beards and all kinds of different people come, and you know, it's very, very inclusive. It works very hard to be inclusive as well. If you look at the range of acts they've got on, the range of different nights they put on, yeah, they've definitely done the work.
If you look at ourselves 7-8 years ago and where we are now, you know, what we're doing is we're bringing and nurturing younger talent from the diverse groups, and, you know, getting people to get the best of what we have in terms of LGBT. But the combination for me is bringing that LGBT culture, the wealth of talent that diversity brings, coupled with like moving into the likes of Belinda Carlisle and Mucho Bueno and the other artists, where we've got that combination and that strength now to be able to bring two very strong parts of like the programme together.
Oh, Bar Whatever, my home. Where do I begin? When I first did Bar Whatever, it was my second or third show, and I was corresponding with Lysander, who is an absolute angel, and Lysander gave me a slot in the October Black History Month. A few months after, Lysander came up to me and just said, hey, you're going to be a resident performer. And I was just like, The audience are amazing. Everyone knows what you can and can't do. Everyone is very welcoming. Everyone feels safe. You know, there's no discrimination. There's nothing like that. When Bar Whatever is on at the RVT, it is just love in the room. I know that Bar Whatever, especially Lysander and Ingo, they work really hard to make sure that everyone feels comfortable, and there is no discrimination.
It's a family. The RVT is a family. It's really important to stress this. From the bar staff to the management to the promoters to the DJs, we all know each other. We all have worked with each other. We all have collaborated in some, shape or form in the past, and still make plans for the future. And It's the glue that binds it together.
There's no other venue I'm going to get into trouble for saying this because I work in them all, but there's no other venue in London that has done anything like put out a manifesto of diversity and inclusion like the Royal Vauxhall Tavern has. It's really led the way when it comes to the more overlooked margins of the LGBTQ community, such as people of colour, black people, women. All of those people have been taken into consideration, and everywhere's catching up, but it was certainly the Royal Vauxhall Tavern that were the first to do that.
The great thing about this venue is that it can transform into many different things quite easily. So when you're here now, where we are now, when it's empty, it looks quite small and it's quite intimate. When we do our club nights, it can feel like a bit of a mini mega club. So we get all sorts of people coming into our club, and that's something we really try and push for, is diversity. So we're not a men-only night.
Although we target the larger area of homo gentlemen, we welcome everyone. And that's what makes it what it is. Although people come here because they want to feel part of a community, whether it's the bear scene or whatever you want to call it, we have to align our values with the values of the venue, which is one of inclusivity.
Name a night at the RVT, Dave. Beef. I love BEEFMINCE. What's beef? Which one's beef? BEEFMINCE, my favourite performer. I see everything they do. I've been to all their shows. I'm a big fan of BEEFMINCE. There isn't a performance of BEEFMINCE's that I haven't seen.
I think without a doubt we are a beacon of hope to the LGBT community. We've received a number of awards over the last couple of years for best coverage, for LGBT, for like best club night, for best panto, and a whole raft of stuff that comes with that. Those are awards which are voted by the public. So that's got to say something in terms of credibility, in terms of what we're doing and the way in which we do that.